Dennis Prager is going to talk about, is it left or liberal? Let's see. 5-minute video.
What's the difference between a liberal and a leftist?
What's the
This
difference?
question stumps most people.
It stumps most people. What? He's real toothy.
Because they think liberal and left are essentially the same.
Do they think it? I'm so glad Dennis Prager is here to finally dispel the myths. I hope he gets it right. It would be lovely, absolutely lovely, if the conservatives stopped mistaking us. That I agree. We should raise awareness. Leftists are not, in fact, liberals, and we don't really care for liberals. The two-party dichotomy has ruined Americans' brains on how politics works. Also, I'm just going to say, I wonder if he's going to agree with a bunch of liberal stuff, and if so, just further proof that the right, like the far right American, like Republican Party is sort of crumbling, because they're all old pieces of shit. They're crumbling, and a lot of liberals are being exposed as like just sort of like right-wing sort of hawks and stuff, and I think you're going to have like an absorption situation, and we might start to get an actually like further left party happening at some point. Anyway.
But they're not. In fact, liberalism and leftism have almost nothing in common.
Oh, thank you.
But the left has appropriated the word liberal so effectively, almost everyone, liberals, leftists, and conservatives, thinks they are synonymous.
He's blaming the leftists? Oh. Well, it's not our fault. I don't want you to call me a liberal. I said every time I've ever heard a leftist be called a liberal inappropriately, they were like, hey, buddy, I'm no fucking lib. So I disagree, Dennis. I'm sure this will be our last disagreement of the video.
But they're not. Let me offer you 6 examples.
Oh, please.
1. Race. This is probably the most obvious difference between liberal and left.
Okay.
The liberal position on race has always been, A, the color of a person's skin is insignificant, and B, those who believe race is significant are racists.
I can see where this is going, Dennis. The leftist position is not, in fact, that race is significant. But let's see what he says.
Meanwhile, the left believes the very opposite.
Oh, okay.
To the left, it's the liberal attitude toward race. It's unimportant. That is racist. That's why the University of...
What? He thinks it's... Okay. All right. So, let me just explain the leftist position, because I don't think he's got it. So, the leftist position on race would be that I would love to have the ambivalence of a liberal that thought race is insignificant in a social sense. Like, I think biologically, we're on the same page with liberals. Race has no biological predisposition towards your, like, personality or mental capacity or whatever. Like, whatever the racists are saying, we don't agree with them, right? I don't think liberals, most of them are racist. They may be microaggressive, but I don't think they're, like, usually racist. I don't think they're liberals usually if they are. We disagree, maybe. I don't even know. Most liberals are kind of on the page here with us and kind of doing it too hard in a bad way. You'll see liberals do like the corporate part of this, like, we have to fill race quotas now, which is like exactly the depiction you see here. Whereas leftists would like to... I love that they only changed the hair for the black... black individual. I just fucking noticed. What, man?
Those who believe race is significant are racists.
Yeah. So the leftist position would be like, I would love if race didn't come up ever, really, because I agree that it shouldn't matter. But there is a large contingent of right-wing people who talk about it a lot and are racists, and so the leftist position is one of anti-racism, and so we out loud say, hey man, that's racism, right? And you're like, be quiet. I don't like it when you call me racist. So the answer, of course, is no, Dennis. We will not be quiet. Anti-racism is the leftist position.
It's the liberal attitude toward race. It's unimportant. That is racist. That's why the University of California officially lists the statement there is only one race, the human race, as racist. And liberals have always been...
What? I would love to know what's happening in general with the context of this. The University of California decreed, and we all listened.
Passionately committed to racial integration.
Intrigration. What are you doing? I was watching a PragerU video.
While the left is increasingly committed to racial segregation, such as all black dormitories and separate black graduations at universities. 2, capitalism. Liberals have always been pro-capitalism because...
True. I agree, because they're dumb as fuck.
Liberals are committed to free enterprise and because they know capitalism is the only way to lift great numbers of people out of poverty.
It lifts people out of poverty, guys. What is poverty, Dennis? Well, poverty is when you don't have enough money. Oh. Well, what if we had a moneyless society in which people's needs were met rather than have money? Now, I agree. We're not going to like have money, no money overnight. But like the commies are not talking about, like, your far left commie is not talking about a crazy thing when they're like, poverty's not really a thing if you have your needs met. That would just, like, if the bottom rung of society had their needs met, as any good quality society should have, right? And we'll call that a baseline. You know, we can have, you know, your natural disasters will disrupt this. We may have people that opt out of our services or whatever. Who knows? But we could really try. We could really fucking make it happen, man.
It is true that liberals want government to play a bigger role in the economy than conservatives do. But liberals never opposed capitalism, and they were never for socialism. Opposition to capitalism and advocacy of socialism are left-wing values. 3.
Oh, okay, but he's not going to talk about... Okay, well... So, all right, here on this stream, we advocate for what we think we can accomplish through policy, while we are holistically, of course, big, dirty, red commies, pinkos even. I don't think we're ever going to experience that in our lifetimes, and so you can try to live your values as much as you can, but you're still subject to capitalism. You got to live, baby. You got to live. So we could get stuff like healthcare, shelter, education, food, water. We could get these things done for people. We could do this. I think we could do this. If we happen to look, if the revolution looks like it's going to happen, you better believe I'm joining. Are you pink or red? Pinko Reds.
Nationalism. Liberals believe in the nation state, whether that nation is the United States, Brazil, or France. But because the left divides the world by class rather than by national identity, the left has always opposed nationalism. So
I wouldn't say I'm trying to divide by class. It's just like under capitalism, class is a mechanism through which we gain or lose power. And so analyzing that system involves like class understandings, but you know, recognizing that classes are a thing is like totally different.
While liberals have always wanted to protect American sovereignty and borders, the left is for open borders.
Yeah. So when you say open borders, I don't think in a capitalist world that we live in now that you should just turn the border open, right? Because of the culture that already lives around these ideas, right? You have to generationally make your border more and more permeable until you can sort of like dissolve the idea of like, hey, why do we even have these fucking, you know, we're in league, you know, we started, you know, you kind of got to get like more involved with your neighbors. But like you know, a European Union, like we could do like a, hey, Western Hemisphere fucking union, let's go, baby. And then we can all like govern together and try to improve humanity together. But like, you know, we're far off from that. Obviously, we come from dum-dums who were like, oh, we should carve everything up and give them states, and then we should give them, oh yeah, hyper nationalism. Let's go, let's sweep across the country and fucking ethnically cleanse everybody. Like, you know, we're not going to be able to dig out of that culturally for a minute. You know? Teach me, Dennis! Anyway, nationalism sucks. We're sort of locked into some of these decisions from a like practical standpoint, but from a holistic standpoint, like policy-wise, yeah, I mean, I think nations are dumb. It doesn't make any sense. Like, a lot of the reason you have friction between countries is because you don't have permeability. Like, that we don't have... If we had more permeability, you would have less friction because you'd have, the laws would be similar for everybody. We would try to, like, spread as much fucking quality living standards as you can by sharing resources with everybody. But, like, obviously, we are not ready for that.
When the writers of Superman were liberals, Superman was a proud American whose very motto was truth, justice, and the American way.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds fucking lame. So what about someone else's perspective because we don't live in the fucking, 40s?
But that all changed a few years ago when left-wing writers took over the comic strip and had Superman renounce his American citizenship to be a citizen of the world.
Yeah, so he's a fucking alien, man. He's not from America. He's literally an alien. He aesthetically pleases you as looking like a white guy, but he's an alien. A made-up one in our heads.
The left has contempt for nationalism.
A few years, but it's been like fucking a decade.
Seeing it as the road to fascism. Better that we should all be citizens of the world in a world without borders. 4.
Yeah, that would be better, obviously. Who disagrees with that? Who doesn't think that would be better? Is there anybody?
View of America. Liberals have always venerated America. Watch American films from the 1930s through the 1950s.
During wartime? Whoa! Whoa! The American propaganda was at an all-time high during the world wars! Whoa! We were trying to annex we didn't even fucking have Alaska yet! That's amazing!
And you will be watching overtly patriotic America celebrating films.
Yeah, man. For sure. Wasn't it illegal to not fucking be patriotic? Like, come on.
Virtually all produced, directed, and acted by liberals. Liberals were quite aware of America's imperfections, but they agreed with Abraham Lincoln that America is the last best hope of Earth. The left...
Big disagree. I think we're one of the biggest problems on Earth right now. Yeah, I think we're a big problem. We could be good. This is the problem with America is that it has such quality potential to actually be a dope place to exist in because we genuinely have the natural resources to get this shit done. Okay? We've got it all, dude. But instead, we just like waste it in pursuit of 2,000 people's bank accounts. Literally. It's nuts. So they can be billionaires and we can just toil? Did you know that none of us have to toil?
What?
To the degree we do. We don't have to toil a little bit. Life is suffering. But Abraham Lincoln died 170 years ago. If your worldview hasn't changed in that amount of time, it's a problem. Well, Dennis wasn't even alive back then.
Left, however, believes the left is the last best hope of Earth.
He would be considered a fucking freak back then.
And regards America as racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, violent, and imperialistic.
Okay. I appreciate that you only kept imperialistic up for half a second, but we're going to put it back up. Yeah, so it is those things, but not all the way. Systemically, yes, socially not, and so the system has not caught up with the society to a degree that is satisfying, and it is therefore dissatisfying. That's pretty natural. So when you're let's do an example that I think Dennis could understand. If you were a bad father, for instance, and your kids didn't like you, right? You would take steps, hopefully, to become a better father. So, like America, it systemically should evolve with its people and become a better America. An America that has people happy and thriving instead of fearing their fucking government for some reason. What's the function of that? What is the function? Just to have power? Sounds miserable. What if we fucking undid that shit and had actual, just like, really high standards of living? Of living? Of living. You know? What if we just had the highest standards of living on the planet? And that was the goal. That's my fucking goal. America will be not based on economic output or whatever, which I'm sure will be high and awesome. Okay? We'll still try. But my measure is not that. My measure is fucking, how are people doing? What is the worst, like, what is the lowest possible standard for living that I would accept for an American citizen, and trying to ensure that for every person, right? Is that bad? Am I bad for wanting that? Crazy.
Realistic. 5. Free speech.
I love free speech. You want to say racial slurs, man. I'm not trying to put you in prison for racial slurs. You just think that people saying, shut the fuck up, Dennis, is an attack on your free speech. But it's not. It's called bullying. You're being bullied for being dumb as fuck.
No one has been more committed than American liberals to the famous statement, I wholly disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Yeah, that's fucking lame. What a platitude. No, you won't. You'll die for me, Dennis? To say, fuck you, Dennis Prager. You'll die for me? Do it. Prove it. Prove it, you won't. Exactly. You fucking won't do that. You never do this shit. Free speech. Shut the fuck up, Dennis Prager.
But the left is leading the first widespread suppression of free speech in modern American history.
You're burning books about gay people. What? What, bro?
From the universities, to the tech companies that govern the internet, to almost every other institution and place of work. Of course, the left claims to only oppose hate speech.
Go. Yeah, I mean, what other kind of speech would there be that I would oppose? But even then, I don't oppose it in a federal sense. Like, I don't think the cops should be able to fucking harass you for most anything, really. But this is dumb because you want to put people in prison for saying things like God is dumb and it's okay to be gay, right?
But putting aside the fact that the left deems hate speech anything it differs with, protecting what you or I might consider hate speech is the entire point of free speech.
No, I disagree. Hate speech is harassment. I don't think that harassment is a valid form of speech. Yeah, I disagree with this. Hate speech is no different than harassment. Actually, it is different than harassment. It often involves incitement. Hate speech, if it's considered hate speech, often involves some kind of like incitement or implied desire for violence.
6.
I thought he said 5.
Western civilization.
Am I crazy?
Liberals
No, he said 6. He said 5-minute video, but 6 things.
have always championed and sought to protect Western civilization.
What the fuck does that mean? What is Western civilization?
Liberals celebrate the West's unique moral, philosophical, artistic, musical, and literary achievements.
So the last 3 are all art. Okay. I don't think liberals necessarily have a strong attachment to specifically Western civilization. I don't know what this means. Civilization will continue. What makes it Western? It's a globe, dog. I know that you're using it as a proxy for like white people, but you know, when we think America, what's the first kind of music you think of when you associate it with America? You're like, I think of rap or country. So rap was first in my head. Blues, there you go. Ska? What the fuck? Writers, philosophers, moral, like a lot of them are like civil rights activists and shit that I think of. I don't know, dude. This is not a good example. I don't know what Western civilization is insofar as like that it's something we need to consider. It's just like a fact of history and not something we need to like preserve. It's not a thing to preserve. Civilization is the civilization we're in. Like, conservatives are so strange. The people who live here are going to live here. It's insane to try to like corral them into a specific kind of like behavior, which is always what conservatives are trying to do. You could try to get rid of the antisocial behaviors that some people have, but like that would be stuff like the hate speech, right? Like you could try to have stuff like more copacetic, but trying to tell people, like, literally, you can't wear dresses or you have to have a penis. Like, you're literally just saying you have to have a penis to somebody. What? You have to have a penis and I'm calling you Jim. Calling you Jim and you have a penis. But I don't want a penis and I don't like being called Jim. How are they fucking mad about this? It's as simple as that. You don't want to be called Jim? Okay. I'm not going to call you Jim then. Your name's not Jim? Fucking... You ever say Jim so much? Jim sounds like if it wasn't a ubiquitous normal name to be called Jim. Like look at what the name Jim is. Change one letter. P, Pim, Zim, Yim, Mim, Nim. All that sounds like fantasy character stuff. Jim is accepted though. There is Tim though. Tim's there too. But that's short for Timothy, and I know Jim is short for James, but it's not though, is it? That'd be Jam, wouldn't it?
And have taught them at virtually every university. The most revered
like Prager University
in American political history, President Franklin Roosevelt,
FDR, baby,
often cited the need to protect Western civilization and even Christian civilization.
All right, cool. I disagree with him. Sweet, man. I like FDR a lot. Insofar as presidents go, got a lot of good stuff done. New Deal. We could have got more done. Whatever. But we were really close to having like a really genuinely good, modern civilization. Anyway, so I disagree with him if he cared about Christian stuff. I disagree. But not everyone's perfect, except for me, an obvious perfect man with no flaws who's never been wrong. Don't look it up.
Yet when President Donald Trump spoke of the need to protect Western civilization in a
because he is being racist. Also, I disagree with FDR.
Speech in Warsaw.
Whataboutism, bro?
Left-wing media, also known as the mainstream media, denounced him.
Well, they just disagreed with him, bro. You got to get over it. Yeah. What is this? What are we trying to do here, Dennis? Just sort of making content. Dude, his hair looks fucking weird to me. What does it look like that?
They argue that Western civilization is no better than any other, and that Western civilization is just a euphemism for white supremacy.
It is a lot of the time. Absolutely. You're using it as a euphemism for white supremacy. If you're not, I would love for you to define what you like about Western civilization, like in what it is. What are the things about Western civilization that you like? Are demographics one of the things that you like about Western civilization? Because then it's a white supremacy issue. If you don't bring up demographics, then that's cool. We can talk about what you like about Western civilization and why there's no need at all for you to try to conserve any aspect of it. Because you're not going to be here. The other people are going to be here. Like, someday this house is going to be fucking blown over. Like, it'll probably be a shelter for someone in the apocalypse, actually, but maybe mine.
So then, if liberalism and leftism are so different, why don't liberals oppose the left?
They do all the time. They fight with us constantly. They suck. The thing is, though, liberals nominally agree with us on, most stuff because liberals get some of the answers on the math test right, but they do not know how to show their work. We ace the test or get close to it, right? It's just like, and show our work. We know a liberal position is one of typically it's not good to be racist, and I think we should have health care. And then a progressive or leftist is oh, I understand systemic issues that lead to certain things, and so I see the root cause of a problem. And liberals are why? I think cops are, not every cop is a bastard. I was one of these guys once. I was well, explain in the ACAB, and it's well, they're complicit. It's okay, I can get down with that. I actually agree. ACAB, baby, being pedantic for no reason. Don't have to be.
In a nutshell, because they have been taught all their lives to fear the right.
Yeah, so he's trying.
But as one of the best,
he's trying to say, libs, look, we're not scary.
Known liberals in America, Harvard Law School professor Alan Dershowitz said,
"Who?
As a liberal, as an American, and as a Jew, I far more fear the left than the right."
Yeah, dumbass. What a dumbass. Alan Dershowitz, more like Alan Douchewitz. What a dummy. What a dumb thing to say.
Dear liberal.
Is it because he had a lot of money? What do you think? Oh, he's a Jewish guy. We can't say No Jewish guy has ever said anything dumb, okay? The big difference here, Dennis Prager, is that it's not because he's Jewish that we don't, believe in the thing he's saying. It's just that the thing he said is stupid, right? That's the difference between a right-wing, anti-Semite and just a fucking normal person. Okay, you don't fucking Jew bait. Fucking throwing out he's Jewish, you can't say he's dumb now. Fuck off. It's patronizing. It's patronizing, okay? Come on, bro. This happens all the time. Oh, they're gay. You can't say anything bad. They're trans. You can't say anything bad about them. What if they're saying dumb shit, man? It doesn't matter. That's the point. It doesn't matter, man.
Conservatives are not your enemy. The left is. I'm Dennis Prager.
Damn. The left is your enemy. I'm not the enemy of liberals. The liberals are the enemies of themselves. I will counter. A liberal is definitely someone who needs a push in the right direction. The left direction. This light is trying to shine me in ways that I don't appreciate. There we go. I don't want to be shined like that. Liberals are mostly fine, but they're frustrating on certain aspects, okay? That's the problem with liberals. And why they think we're annoying, because we keep bothering them about it. But I'm not going to stop. If you're a liberal, no, you don't need to be. A lot of the reason you're a liberal is because you're ignorant. I was there. You don't need to be a lib. You can just show your work. You just learn the math, okay? You don't got to copy the work. That's really what it feels like. Oh, yeah, Black Lives Matter. And then they're they stop talking about it, because they get bored of it or whatever. They go, collect those fucking tumbler cups or whatever. And it's why don't you just be convicted about it? It really just takes conviction to be a leftist. It just takes actually giving a shit. I feel like that's really what it is. Some far leftists are just as cringe. So here's the thing. Far leftists are fucking right wingers. Far leftists, fucking tankies, they just move all the way. They go, "Oh, I think that usually an ethno-state should have communism, right? We should have communist ethno-states." Fucking, you're stupid. You're a fascist. It's really stupid. Lefties.